In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to create different values or shades on a basic value scale. So in art, valuing allows you to create drawings that are sort of like this, where they look three-dimensional, and also where it shows a light source. So this is going to be a little bit of an introduction for us to help us learn how to create different values or lights and darks that are going to allow us to make our artwork look more three-dimensional. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is using different types of graphite pencils. Now, an artist can use a single pencil to create different shades. I've done it myself, and if you do not have these available to you, you can always just use a regular pencil and press lighter or harder depending on how light or dark you want your values to be. But if you were in my class right now and you have access to these, I would like you to grab a Ziploc bag of the pencils, write your name, your desk number, and your class, whatever it is, 7181, on there. And then please make sure that you have the following pencils in the bag. Make sure you have a 6B in there. Make sure you have a 3B, like B as in bat. Make sure you have a B, B as in bat. Make sure you have an H, like hat. And make sure you have an HB as in hat, bat. Okay, so, and I would like you to please keep this in your supply bag. Now, the first thing we're gonna do, a value scale is just different levels of light and dark that we would see in a drawing with the element of value in it. So instead of us starting at either end, I actually am going to have you guys start in the middle. So this goes from white all the way to black. Now for our middle pencil, we are going to be using an HB pencil. So the basic number 2 pencil that you use, like this fine Ticonderoga, is an HB pencil. Sometimes they also come in fancy brands like this, but we're going to use the old Ticonderoga. So what you want to do here is you're going to fill this in with your HB, and I'm also going to recommend that you write HB on top of it, and I'll explain why later. And I want you to fill this in with medium pressure, okay? So not super soft, not super hard, okay? So you're not pressing really hard. I know some of us are very heavy-handed, but try to just fill it in a medium value and try to get it as even as you can. All right, now we're going to work our way into the darks. So with the different pencils, the codes on them tell you how soft or hard the graphite is in it. So the next one, so an HB is a combination of an H graphite, which is a harder graphite, and a B graphite, which is softer. So that's why it's kind of like a middle of the road one. So the plain B would be the next softest graphite after HB. So this is sort of a middle gray. This is going to be sort of a dark gray. So you're going to see that even if you press with the same amount of pressure as the HB, your graphite is automatically going to come out darker. So you don't even really have to change how hard you're pressing. Now this is sort of a push-pull thing. If you look at this and if you kind of like squint your eyes, like close your eyes a little bit like you would if you were looking at the sun, you should be able to see a discernible difference, meaning like a noticeable difference. If you don't, then you would go back over it. If you made it way too drastic, you could always go in and erase a little bit, all right? So that was my B pencil. Now I'm gonna go up to a 3B, okay? So as the number gets higher, the characteristic of that graphite intensifies. So this gets like a softer graphite. So this is my 3B. Now there's also 2B, 4B, 5B, 6B, but we have kind of a limited palette here, so we're going to go right to the 3B. But just so you know, you can make a value scale that has more steps than this one if you really wanted to. Okay, so you can see that comes out darker. All right, and now I'm going to move up to my 6B. All right, so 6B has a very soft graphite. When you're using this too, you want to be careful. So I'm pressing as hard as I can here. So this should be like almost black. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, I might want to make that one a little bit darker. Remember, like I said before, it's sort of a push-pull. Okay, but you should see that discernible difference there. Actually, I think it's okay. So now that I've done my dark end of my value scale, now I'm going to go to my lights. So what I'm going to do here is I had my HB. I am going to color very, very, very light with my HB. Okay, now just like with the B pencils, the H pencils also have different degrees of the hardness of the graphite. So if you squint your eyes, you could see the difference between those. Now I'm going to move to my H. Now there's also 2H, 3H, 4H. 4H is the hardest one. We only have an H right now, so that's what we're going to use, but you also have control over how hard or soft you press. So if you're someone who only has this available to you, like if you're virtual or something, or you're just doing this for fun at home, the HB, you would just either press hard for dark values or very, very soft for light values. Okay, so for my H, I am going to press super, 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 super light. Okay. Now this end here says white, so for that one, you are going to just leave it white, okay? So don't forget to put your name on top and your class section, and then you're going to make sure you put this in your supply bag because you're going to be referring to this when we do our project.